5:30 for the rest of us. And we will call this meeting to order. Can I do a roll call, please?
Yes, in 1 second, sir.
No rush. We got time.
Ron, did you turn me off?
I didn't do anything. I'm trying, oh,
Yep.
got it.
Mine was a little tricky, too.
You have to hit it 17 times, Rika. I was counting.
Mr. Blades?
Present.
Mr. Rajaratnam?
Present.
Mr. Hayman?
Present.
Mr. Gorman?
Present.
For President, Mayor is at LAFCO and will sign in later. I just turned on. Thank you.
And I will state for the sake of the public, that the location, the other location that is not here will be in Bakersfield. That is Kern Council of Governments Boardroom, 1401 19th Street, Suite 300, Bakersfield, California. So that is the other location. That is where the mayor currently is attending LAFCO. So now we are on to approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please vote. You guys are the greatest. What?
Rika, we need to do roll call.
Oh, yeah,
because
we don't have
we need-
mayor. You are correct. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
So we will not have voting slides all night. We're going to have to roll call this mayor's remote when he does check in.
It's okay.
Mr. Blades?
Aye.
Because I can't call mayor first, it always throws me off. Mr. Rajaratnam?
Aye.
Mr. Hayman?
Aye.
Mr. Gorman?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries. Thank you, Martin.
Okay, we are now on to closed sessions, Conference of Legal Counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, Gilmore versus City of Ridgecrest, USDC Eastern District Case Number 125, Tax CV, Tax 01022, Tax JLT, Tax CDB. We will retire into closed session, be back out here at 6 o'clock. Thank you. It is 6 o'clock, and we are going to come back out, come back into open session. We retire from closed session. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Chief, where are you?
He is not here.
There he is. She just
I see you, sir.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Rajaratnam, if you would.
Please join me in prayer if you would. Lord, thank you for giving us this opportunity to come to the City Council. Lord, as we observed 9/11 Memorial few days back, Lord, I ask you to teach us to be patriotic but humbly so. Lord, teach us to see the value of life and teach us to see the beauty and the frailty of life in the light of all these attacks, Lord, and in the light of so many events happening in our country, all over the world. Lord, make us always remember that on that day, we did not focus on nationality, religion, wealth, education, race, or color, but we solely focused on humanity and the love for Americans. Lord, give us that mind to continue to do the same and love each other and help each other as we carry on in our day-to-day life, Lord. Ironically, Lord, we are observing Constitutional Week this month, Lord, which is the cornerstone for our democracy. Lord, it's a testament for the tenacity of Americans who have seen and maintained the liberties, freedoms, and inalienable rights. Lord, today our democracy is being attacked. Lord, give us the guidance to preserve our democracy and be useful citizens in this community and country, Lord. Lord, as we discuss many issues which are important to this community in the City Council meeting, guide us and lead us. Let our decisions be useful to this community. In Jesus' precious name I pray. Amen.
Martin, can we please have a report out of closed session?
Certainly. Thank you. Honorable Mayor, council members, one item was discussed in closed session by the council, and that's existing litigation, Gilmore versus City of Ridgecrest and Austin Roland. No reportable actions were taken by the council in closed session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're now on to the presentation portion, which is what I'm sure everybody is here for. We're going to have a proclamation for Constitution Week, presentation of retirement from PACT. Okay, you can all see them up on the board. Measure V report. And we will recognize the Ridgecrest police officers who went and competed for us. Council, would you please join me at the podium? So it is my privilege to read the proclamation for Constitution Week. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government and a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas September 17th, 2025 marks the 238th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, be it proclaimed, the Ridgecrest City Council does hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week, and asks our citizens to reaffirm their ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties. Proclaim the 17th day of September 2025. Sign the City Council. You have any words, Sharon?
On behalf of the Panamint Springs chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, happy Constitution Week. This week we honor the principles that unite us as Americans. For nearly 70 years, the DAR has proudly led the way in championing September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. The goals are as meaningful today as ever: to inspire citizens to cherish and protect the Constitution, to celebrate it as the foundation of our freedoms, and to encourage learning about the events that shaped its creation. Please stop by our table in the hallway. There are free constitutions and other interesting literature. Thank you.
Sharon, you guys want to get a picture? Sorry. No, it's okay. Up to you. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's up to you. Up to you.
We'll be right behind you. It's sung that the DARs have sent a cannon to the courthouse square.
Somebody from the PD? Sergeant Maroney, is that you? Chief?
never a fan of not being able to see everybody. It's a weird podium. Thanks for being here, council, for giving us some time. The next thing we're going to do is recognize some of our volunteers who have done a lot of work for us. Lou's here. See, Lou is Mary Lee's here. Oh, well, come up front so everybody can look at you. We'll get a good look. So both of these folks have been part of our PACT program for many years, decades really. We'll start with Mary Lee's because, you know, ladies first makes sense, right? Mary Lee's joined PACT, the Police and Community Together, in 1996. I wasn't even born yet. Most of her work over the years, at least in the early part, was working at the animal shelter. You know, and really, when we talk about both of these folks, the work that they do is not replaceable. If we had to pay for the work that our volunteers do, we wouldn't be able to have a contract with the fire department. So the fire department is mostly grateful for the volunteers. We're able to shift that money over and make sure they have jobs. So we're grateful for that as well. But they do hundreds and hundreds. I think last year, Brenda, correct me if I'm wrong, I think about 5,000 or 6,000 hours of work our volunteers have done. So both Lou and Mary Lise have contributed to that for a very long time. So Mary Lise, most of her work was working in the animal shelter. And then as she got out of work in the animal shelter, she did stuff around the office, tracking the hours of all the volunteers, which at 5,000 or 6,000, you know, that's a job all by itself. So we appreciate that. She helped us develop our computerized fingerprints program and get that up and running. And again, you're talking about, you know, since 1996. So we appreciate everything that you've done. And for that, Sergeant Maroney, I don't need to do everything, man. You look better. If they wanted a handsome guy to do it.
Oh, well, Bill?
Yes. There you go. You can say as many words as you want.
The shelter is a wonderful place to work. It's hard work, but it's worth it. And I hope somebody will volunteer to take our places. We've been there 30 years and loved every minute. And I'll have to say, Ridgecrest has a very good kennel and the shelter. And Mary Stage has done a lot of work on that. And I appreciate it. I remember the first time I went out there was no volunteers. I just volunteered for 2 years. And then they began forming the PACT group. And my husband is captain. And I'm lieutenant. And together we went every Sunday, Saturday, every time they had an adoption event, whatever. So I want to thank the city for this presentation, and I hope you guys will continue to do well at the animal shelter, and we'll stick around and check it out.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all the stuff you did at the shelter. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Lou, come on up, Lou. Makes me think of those commercials with Lou, the life insurance commercials. You know, what would Lou do? Lou is one of the original members of PACT, starting in 1993. That seems like a long time ago. Probably a handful of you guys. I think Marty was there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got this PACT going. I think they call it something else.
First, it started out as just the graffiti task force.
Got it. And so he started as the graffiti task force and is finishing as not part of the graffiti task force, but as the graffiti task force. It's really a hole that we have trouble filling because Lou would go out, as soon as the stuff is out there, it just gets covered up. It's hard to find somebody with that level of commitment to take their time and get out there, get that stuff covered up. So anybody who's looking for a part-time job for free, we'll have an opening. We have great equipment. Come out and do that. Throughout that, he was part of training other PAC members to do that same work. Because you figure they go out there, they pressure wash it, paint over it, right? That's pretty much the gist of it. But we have a truck with a trailer that they would go out and do that stuff with. And it's dirty work, and it's work that really people don't want to do. But if you look around, we don't have a lot of graffiti. And that's probably because it got cleaned up so fast that the people with graffiti probably just couldn't afford more paint to keep it up because they weren't as good as Lou. So, we appreciate that. And again, we're talking about, decades and decades of working for the police department for free. So don't think that you're going to have some class action suit later where you can try to get us to pay you, because we can't afford it. But talk a little bit about here, you talk about the time you've enjoyed with the other PAC members, but go ahead and take a minute to, tell these folks. I'm not just going to read it.
Well, I've enjoyed working with the PAC personnel for this many years. I really appreciate the support and backing of the police department. When we first started, a few of them thought we were just a bunch of vigilantes trying to take over positions, but thanks to the forward thinking of several of the upper officers and the community, they accepted us, and we became what's known now as the police and community together. I'd like to thank my wife for her support and understanding when I was gone during the day and evenings, the sworn officers of the police department for their protection and understanding and support. And one last thing, I'd like to say, Control, this is Victor 5, I'm 10-7.
Let's get some pictures up here. We'll get the council up here. These are the guys that support us and make it all happen. Want to hold it for the picture? Lou, can we get you guys some pictures up here? No, up here. We'll get up here. We'll get the council up here. I mean, really, the council makes it so we can make everything happen, right?
That's it.
I get to stay up here. I know people were kind of hoping for otherwise, but here we are. Next, we're going to recognize the officers who participated in the World Police and Fire Games in Alabama this year. Pretty men. So, several months ago, we hired Officer Jerry Galaviz. He's the guy fourth in line there. He looks like the guy that you don't want to wrestle. He's probably got his medals with him. Jerry, at the police department he worked for before, had participated in the, no, that's not close enough. You guys need to come over here. Nice try. That way people start staring at you, not me. Nice try. So Jerry came from an organization where he was able to go to the police and fire games, 4 times before this?
Twice.
Okay, twice, so I was only half wrong. And he wanted to get together a group to go to the police and fire games again, and that's sometimes a big challenge. But given the fact that he had a stack of gold medals already in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, we figured he might know something about what he was talking about. So we started talking about it as a department, figuring out how we could make that happen, because really, you can't just use budget money to send guys off to Alabama. So these guys, they all decided they would participate. First of all, we have Sergeant Bill Groves. He was a shooter in the shooting competitions. Also in the shooting competition, Sergeant Nathan Lloyd. Also shooting, hiding in the back, because that's what he normally does. He tries to stay out of pictures, but he smiled, which is also unusual. Officer Ryan Smith. You told me to, sir. Yeah, orders happen. If you look at pictures of that guy, seriously, if he's not ordered to smile, he just stands there like he's super hard, but he's a very nice guy. So he needs to just relax a little bit and act like he's normal. And then our wrestlers, Officer Gabriel Coe and Officer Galaviz, Jerry Galaviz, who started the whole thing. They got together, started practicing. We'll give you the medal count in a minute. It clearly appears that the wrestlers and the jiu-jitsu people practiced more. Sorry. But they were able to go to Alabama. They did it with the support of the community. Lots of donations from both businesses and individual people. On that list, I'm just going to read it off. TNT Automotive, Fast Trip, Casa Corona, Desert Valleys Credit Union, Jim Charlon Ford, Ridgecrest Regional Hospital, Casey's, RAC, Ridgecrest Athletic Club. Also, is anybody here from RAC? Now, they also are very supportive of our new officers. In the time from when we hire them to send them to the academy, they actually let them work out there for free, which is very helpful to getting them in shape for the academy. So we appreciate RAC doing that. Iconic Barber and Salon, Alta One Credit Union. I think it's closed right now because they're all here. La Fiesta, Snap Mortgage, State Farm, 760 Fitness. I think that's everybody. If you're here and I missed you, it's my fault, not theirs. Those were largely monetary donations. Other donations for raffle prizes were donated by Wiley's Fishing, Chen Sushi, Christie's Restaurant, Mavs Motorsports, and Lunar Lens. And that's not also taken into consideration other monetary donations from individual people and a raffle that they did. So they don't get to go do this without the support of the community. It's just cost prohibitive. It's too hard. But we appreciate, as the police department, and I think the council concurs, these folks going out there and representing the city of Ridgecrest at these high-level, very competitive games where they were actually pretty successful. I only joke with the shooting guys because the competition was incredible. They competed against people who shoot every single day. We don't have the luxury of sending them to the range all day for their shift, every day, all day. They actually have to go out and protect you and then go practice on their own time. So we appreciate that kind of effort, but really it shows why Ridgecrest is Ridgecrest. They just started telling people, hey, we're trying to do this thing to go out and represent the city, and so many people stepped up that they were able to do that. Australia's in 2 years. Oof. I don't know how we're going to pull that off, but I'm going to try to find a way to go and be supportive. So maybe they need a guy to wash their clothes between matches or something. But again, thank you to the community on behalf of the guys. I'm sure one of them will want to speak. Nathan? It's usually Nathan. You guys have time, right? This is going to be one of those meetings. Come up and say something, whoever. Somebody's got to speak for you guys.
Thank you, Chief. I just want to say thank you guys to the community for coming together and raising enough funds for us to actually get this done. Thanks to the department for letting us go and kicking this off. We appreciate that. Thanks to Jerry. Without Jerry, we probably wouldn't have known about this, so it was definitely a good time. Scott, thank you for showing us the ways of shooting, even though it didn't pay off in the medal count. And most importantly, thanks to our family who supported us. We kind of went stag on this trip, and so the wives had to hold the fort down at home, so we appreciate that. So thank you guys so much.
So it tells you a little about who these guys are. Hang on, stop. Did you cut me off? So it tells you a little bit about who these guys are. These guys have their medals in their hand, like, we don't want to show the medals. Show them the damn medals. These are just some of the medals. Oh, thanks. So these guys will be training for that next time. I think now, we didn't learn about it as far in advance as gave us enough time to train effectively. I fully expect these guys to come back with medals from the Australia trip. Otherwise, I'm going to talk smack again. So if you don't want that, shoot it up. And Bill actually bought a new gun that is more in line with the competition that they do. So he'll be ready next time. Yeah, so we hope so. So with that, I believe Councilman Blades?
I suppose I could have had you read the proclamation, Chief. So I have one for each of you gentlemen. I won't read them all. We or just you? Okay. So whereas the World Police and Fire Games is a prestigious international event held biannually, bringing together thousands of law enforcement officers, firefighters from over 70 countries, really all over, to compete in athletic events that promote excellence, camaraderie, and global unity. And whereas the city of Ridgecrest was proudly represented at the 2025 Games in Birmingham, Alabama, by 5 dedicated and outstanding members of the Ridgecrest Police Department: Sergeant Groves, Sergeant Lloyd, Officer Coe, Officer Smith, Officer Galvez. Whereas these officers trained rigorously and competed honorably, demonstrating athleticism, perseverance, and integrity, values that mirror the core mission and character of the Ridgecrest Police Department. And whereas their participation not only showcased their individual talents, but also brought distinction and pride to the city of Ridgecrest on an international stage. And whereas these officers served as exemplary ambassadors for our city and community, reinforcing the spirit of public service and teamwork both on and off the field of competition. And whereas the Ridgecrest City Council and the entire community wish to honor and celebrate these officers for their contributions, achievements, and dedication to representing Ridgecrest with excellence. Now, therefore, the City Council does hereby proclaim recognition and commendation for the 5 Ridgecrest police officers who participated in the 2025 World Police and Fire Games, and urge all citizens to join me in congratulating these officers for their achievements, thanking them for their continued service, and celebrating the pride they bring to our community. So unless any of you have any further words, I'd like to bring you guys up there and your families and anybody else that wishes to come up for a picture. Sponsors for sure.
As soon as the guys are done up here with their pictures, I noticed there are a lot of people here who were part of the donation process to get them there. If you don't mind meeting them in the lobby, Isabel can take some pictures with each of the groups that contributed to making this possible, because both the department and the officers are very appreciative of your support. Talking about Bill?
Yeah, I think that's it. So there's a lot of sponsors here. If the sponsors would like to come up for a picture as well, I think that would be great. Promise we'll do better next year and you'll be famous for those self-photo.
TSA? Huh? Did you get that through TSA?
So we shifted, so all sponsors are going to head out there to take pictures. I was not aware. And next up, we'll have a Measure V report, and for that, we'll have the council go back up.
They want us to be part of the sponsor real fast.
I'll start your presentation. Everything's great.
So we are going to take just a few seconds to allow for folks to take pictures.
He did the graffiti removal.
Well,
Did a good job.
Could we get it fixed to where it can zoom in? So they can't see anybody close. So we should bring them up here. They do not want to? They want to come up here maybe? Oh, okay, I'm not gonna force. Okay, good to go. Just trying to help. Yeah. Well, I'll just.
Below the equator. So Coriolis is
Yeah,
forced
no worries.
in the opposite direction. You guys
I don't want to pressure him if he doesn't want to. Okay.
Actually rotate counterclockwise.
I was gonna suggest that.
it only takes into effect out about 1,000 yards, though.
They're shooting handguns at like 1,500 yards, so.
We do take all that into consideration, though. Oh, yeah. Spin drift, Coriolis effect.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Bullet coefficient. Yeah. Good stuff. That's my hobby.
I sensed that.
He's direct ballistics
Does TV land? Oh, here it comes.
charts for the rifles.
Here he comes.
I have all the books, so I would hand the calculator.
No pressure, Chris. Whatever.
Can I be on this side?
Absolutely, whatever you want to do.
Make sure your bald spot doesn't show.
But you,
Accurate.
yeah. But what you will deal with, Chris, is if you turn your head to talk, the microphone's
Right.
very directional.
Yep.
So, okay.
All right. We good to go?
Yes, we are good to go.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, council. Thank you, everyone, for allowing us to be here tonight. My name is Chris Hill, and I will be representing the Measure V Citizens Oversight Committee as we present to you our annual report. The committee also consisted of Holly Staub, who is our committee chair, Brandon Temple, Gurpreet Badrain, and Joe Shermer. Bottom line, just off the top, and I'll probably close this way as well, the Measure V funds are being used as promised. And that's important. That's why we have this oversight committee, to make sure of that. And our findings have shown that everything that was promised to the public is being done as by way of those tax funds. So where does the money go? Well, real fast, let's talk about how much money was brought in. So total fiscal year '24 Measure V revenue, as well as a little bit of Measure L, which was the measure prior to Measure V, was just over 6.1 million. There was a little bit of carryover from fiscal year '23, 3.2 mil. And then with that, the total fiscal year '24 expenditures totaled out to 7.3 million. So if you're looking at fiscal year '24 revenue and then fiscal year '24 expenditures, the expenditures were higher than the revenue, and that was on purpose. The city is working to, work down those carryover funds. And so that was all planned. There is 1.9 carried over for the future year as well. Where does that money go? 61% of that goes to the Public Works budget. And what do they do with it? Some highlights that they have done this last year in fiscal year '24, completed the Down Street repair, repaired more than 1 mile of arterial roadway, slurried 4.6 centerline miles, purchased a striping machine and a grinder. The city's 2020 to 2025 5-year payment rehabilitation plan is complete, and by 2030, 99% of Ridgecrest Street infrastructure will have been touched, which is remarkable. The rest of the money, 34% of the RPD's budget is funded by Measure V funds. What was done with those funds? Multiple positions and hiring activities were funded. Vehicles were purchased and vehicles were updated. Interview rooms were updated. Officer equipment was purchased and upgraded as well. One thing to note is that officer-initiated incidents are up, which means that our police force is able to be proactive, which is remarkable, and calls for service are down, which means they're also able to keep a safe community for us, which is remarkable. Let's see here. All in all, as said, everything was used the way that it should. In working up this report, we worked with city staff who were transparent with everything we asked of them, with numbers, with information. They were so easy to work with, and it just shows the amazing team that we as a community actually have working for us, and being responsible with our tax money. And we want to thank everyone involved in the part they played in doing that, and great work, and we look forward to what the future holds, because there's great plans ahead. Any questions for the committee?
No questions, but I just want to thank the committee for probably the most clear and concise and great report out that I've seen in the last 7 years, and great job to everyone for all your hard work. It's very much appreciated.
Awesome, thank you. Over the years, we have worked to really make it a lot clearer and just easier to read and understand, and just something that you can actually digest.
It shows, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Gorman, do you have anything?
No questions. Ditto him. No questions, but thank you so much for your hard work. We really appreciate the time you spent on this. Thank you.
Awesome.
Same. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, team. Holly, Brandon, you guys are, I know you have other people on the team, but you guys are here, and you put in a lot of your own time and work, and you do a lot of hard work to do this, and I'm thankful that you're here because you're extremely intelligent people. You're thrown in to do a service for the community. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
So if, let's see, we're in presentation. So if there's nothing further from the council, then we will move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm. Okay, we are now on to public comments of items not on the agenda. Persons wishing to address the council on matters that are not within the council's jurisdiction. Let me start again. Persons wishing to address the council on matters that are within the council's jurisdiction and do not already appear on the agenda may do so at this time. Council will not respond to any public comments, but may provide direction to staff to collect information. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the City Council may not act on an item that does not appear on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 5 minutes. The public comment section of the agenda is limited to a total of 1 hour. Each speaker is asked to provide his or her name. Is there any comments from the public? I'll wait a few minutes because I think there's a delay. And if there's any comments from the phone. Looks like none so far. All right, we will move on. Council announcements and direction. Mr. Roger Rutnam?
I do have one announcement. Waste Management and City of Ridgecrest, they will be hosting a multifamily property manager meeting on Wednesday, September 24th. There will be 2-hour-long sessions to attend, one at 1 p.m. and the second at 5:30 p.m. The workshop will go over the amenities for multifamily properties, pickup procedures for bulky items, and introductory toolkits for residents. So those who are interested, I would encourage them to attend these 2 workshops. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Roger Rutnam. Mr. Heyman?
So I just want to announce that this Saturday, September 20th, will be the Randsburg Wild West Days. And that's going to be a really good, I guess you could say, show or a celebration again this year. I believe they start about 8 o'clock with the pancake breakfast. And so anyone, if you have time, come out Saturday to Randsburg and enjoy what they're putting on out there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Heyman.
A couple of things. The weekend after next is the Macharango Museum Open Studio Tour. I've been pleased and delighted to have been part of this for the last 24 years. My metal shop becomes a studio, an art studio, and many of our other remarkable artists here in the Valley get to open their studios to the public. You stop by the Macharango Museum weekend after next, and you pick up a map. Doesn't cost you anything to participate, and you drive around visiting the art studios. And we artists get to show you around, give you munchies. You'll hear jokes and enjoy yourselves, and you'll buy hopefully some of their art. And that's happening on September 27th and 28th, generally from 9 until 4. And plan on doing that. It's great fun. Also, my wife, Denise, gave me a clipboard recently. I guess she's Christmas shopping, but clipboards are the most useful and least appreciated utilitarian items in the household. I use them for everything. This one in Edwardian script has laser etched on the back of it the name Skip. My wife's has Denise on the back of it, and it comes from the wood shop at Burroughs High, who are making these clipboards for whoever wants them for a certain price, a reasonable price, and they're using the funding to buy further wood shop accoutrement for making guitars. Did I get that right? Yes. Guitars, an ambitious project for a wood shop. And I appreciate shops coming back in high schools. My goodness, very important stuff. One last thing I get to mention, especially to our police chief, who I'm a big fan of. We'll maybe get some rain in the next couple of days. Compliments of Tropical Depression Mario coming up from the south. So there.
Thank you, Mr. Gorman. Okay,
I
if
should have
there's
said
no
star.
further announcements or direction, we will move on to the consent calendar. All items listed on consent are considered to be routine and non-controversial by city staff. Consent items may be approved by one motion if no member of the council or audience wishes to comment or ask questions. If comment or discussion is desired by anyone, the item will be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the city council concerning the item before the action is taken. There is one consent item and it is listed on the posted agenda. Does any member of the council wish to have the item pulled? No. Any member of the public wish to have the item pulled? All right. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Blades?
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam?
Aye.
Mr. Heyman?
Aye.
Mr. Gorman?
Aye.
We have 4 ayes, 1 absent, motion carries.
We are now on to discussion action items. First thing up, number 6, council's discussion and direction to staff regarding an ordinance prohibiting illegal fireworks and assessing responsibility on property owner. I think Martin and Mario, you guys are going to take this one.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and council members. This item is before you, not for introduction or adoption, but there is a draft ordinance attached to the staff report, which we will seek your direction in connection with it, whether you approve of it in its current form or if you have some changes. Those will be reflected at the next meeting when we will bring this item to you, if you so direct, for introduction and for moving this ordinance forward. The ordinance basically is designed to assist law enforcement in curbing and apprehending those who set off the fireworks and those who allow the fireworks to be set off on their properties. It's a social host ordinance making the property owner responsible for basically the activity that occurs on the property. One of the difficult parts of law enforcement with regard to fireworks is getting to the scene on time to see who actually did it. This social host ordinance also assesses liability on property owners, which would allow citations to be issued to the owner of the house where the fireworks are being set off. The fireworks that are being encompassed by this ordinance are what's called dangerous fireworks that are described under Health and Safety Code, use of safe and sane fireworks, and obviously fireworks that are approved by the city in a certain location according to a permit is not encompassed by this ordinance. We're here to obtain direction from you, have a discussion. I'll hand it over to the chief to augment anything that I omitted or didn't fully explain. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, members of the council, for having us on this topic. This comes up fairly often, especially around 4th of July and New Year's Eve. You know, a lot of our community members come in and talk about what can we do. This ordinance gives us a tool to actually take action in those situations that Martin described, where we know they're being launched from a property, but everyone runs in a house. This allows us to issue a citation to that property owner for either participating or failing to stop people from using their property as a home base for these dangerous illegal fireworks. They can be issued an administrative citation. I have worked with a similar ordinance in my work before I joined the Ridgecrest team, and we saw a reduction in calls for service for fireworks calls of 45% with an ordinance similar to this being enacted by the council, my previous department. So it's shown to be effective in deterring folks that are launching these illegal and dangerous fireworks with the associated fine of $1,000 per incident. And with that, I think we've covered all the initial stuff. Everybody got the staff report and the proposed language. Martin and I are happy to answer any questions to help clarify any issues.
Thank you, Chief. So we'll bring it back to the council for some initial discussion and then open it up to the public. Mr. Gorman?
Thank you. I fully support this. This is good stuff. We certainly saw last 4th of July the extent to which, other than safe and sane fireworks, can cause serious fires out by the fairgrounds. And I think it's what we come up with here is a good first try. I would think that it only applies to what happens within the city limits?
That's correct. Our jurisdiction ends at the city limits.
We are a city whose limits are a sharp-edged amoeba surrounded by a county. the community itself, oblivious to the city limits, grows outward from the center. And I and my wife live in a part of Ridgecrest that's actually a detached rectangle from the city limits, and surrounded by county households that those rascals, they set off what we'll call illegal fireworks like crazy. There ought to be something, some way for this ordinance to extend beyond the city limits to areas of the county that are affected by what goes on in the city. Does that exist?
It does exist. The county does have an ordinance. I'm certainly not an expert on how they deploy that, but we do have partners in the community, the folks from the fire department. If they don't mind, if you guys could come up and, if it's permissible to the council, to let them clarify what the county ordinance is and allows them to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't feel the pressure, but if you have a moment just to tell the community from the Kern County Fire Department's perspective.
Brian Barrett, Kern County Fire Captain, and we currently do enforce that, and we do enforce it within the city limits. I think the issue Ridgecrest Police Department ran with is the city itself does not have an ordinance that they can enforce. We can within the city limits, and in your case, in the county.
Terrific.
And it's under a fee schedule. $1,500 is the first, $2,000 second, and $2,500 is the third penalty for the violation. Same thing, social host liability, imposition of fireworks that are not safe and sane, the use of them, lighting them, storing them, transporting them are all under that.
Awesome.
Does that clarify?
Yeah, thank you, Captain. Appreciate that.
Thank you, my friend.
James,
Another
thanks, Captain
comment, I had a jumping subject slightly, is that I suggest as we ease into our first 4th of July under this city ordinance, that we flood the zone with pamphlets and, I don't know, staple them to all the telephone poles that talk about the extent to which certain fireworks are indeed illegal and what it'll cost if you're caught using them or transporting them or anything else. And in very simple language, large type, and maybe dramatic pictures. Spread the word as much as possible. Just flood the zone with information about this. And I see Ron taking notes, so it's a good comment. That's it. Thank you.
Mr. Heyman. Mr. Roger Rotman.
Yes, I do support this, but I have some questions. I apologize for my ignorance in this area. So since this involves quality of life, did this go to quality of life committee?
It has not yet.
I mean,
No,
it doesn't
this-
need to, I was just curious because it generally involves quality of life for Ridgecrest community.
No, this came straight to council. This was something that the council has been bringing up for at least the last 4 to 5 years, and that was the reason why we elected to bring it to council as a discussion item first.
Okay.
Instead of bringing it to the quality of life. It was, instead of just coming for your first reading, we brought it here as a discussion, just to allow all the council members to be able to see exactly what this ordinance was. I know at least, particularly the last 3 years, there's been, a majority of the council has been asking for us to do something about the fireworks issue. It's gotten significantly worse since COVID. I know this last year was fairly, actually was quite a bit more than it was the year before, and the year before that. So that's the reason why.
Okay. And Chief and Mr. Martin, you have been mentioning property owner. I'm guessing that includes the renters also. If somebody is renting the property, the renter would be liable.
Yeah, there's language
Anybody
in
in control? Oh, go ahead, Chief, I'm sorry.
I mean, you're the attorney, I'll let you go.
council members, anybody in control of the property, a tenant, an owner, a lessee, is held responsible for any occurrences on that property.
Okay, thank you. And when we say illegal fireworks or dangerous fireworks, do we maintain a list what is, because I go to the fire booth and buy whatever they are selling, so how do I know what is illegal and what is not?
Those are defined under California state law as safe and sane. As defined in the code, in the draft that we have here, it spells out specifically what health and safety code section covers what are illegal fireworks. Anything that you can buy at the safe and sane fireworks stands throughout the city that are permitted by the city and the fire marshal would not be affected by this.
Okay. So the firework booths which sell, so they sell only legal fireworks, right?
That's correct. Any fireworks booth in the city of Ridgecrest sells only safe and sane fireworks. They're not legally permitted to sell anything else. We're not talking about sparklers. We're largely talking about the aerial mortars that put on the big shows, similar to the ones the city pays for, the ones that are brought into our community illegally and launched. Those are the ones that are most dangerous because they are not controlled by a pyrotechnic technician. That's where the injuries and the damage to property generally would originate.
And Chief, you have experience in this from your previous position. So are there any legal challenges for this?
We didn't have any. It was all vetted beforehand, engaging with, of course, Martin and his team on the city attorney side. We were able to vet out those things in advance. The time when I was engaged with this initially, we were actually one of the first places to have one. Now they're just about everywhere. Us getting one is not out of the ordinary. This isn't something that would even come up as unusual or new. It's just time for Ridgecrest to consider if this will assuage some of the concerns that the community has expressed and that the council has shared with staff.
That's all I have for. Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, you bet, no problem. So it looks like we have a comment out there on the phones. They've been waiting a little while, so go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
Neil, it's been interesting listening to the feedback here. Say, unfortunately, you guys may have a problem with process. First off, your city manager reports to you that requests to deal with this problem for the last 3 or 4 years? Why didn't it come ago or 3 years ago? Now it's a big hurry because apparently we didn't need quality of life or other relevant discussing this, which is where, as has been stated by council members, comments on the issue and a lot of feedback and in crafting the ordinance. They didn't do that. It just worked because somebody got in a big hurry. It's up here at City Council. Now, I suggest you table it, put it before committees, and put a I mean, just $1,000 first. Does that sound reasonable, or should it graduated so that you don't get the citizens who might get cited for this? I'll give you. Skip likes to tell stories. I'll tell you a short minute, and I don't get 15 like he does. To my house years ago, I live in a cul-de-sac. There was a lot of street area available. I had some relatives, which I'm sure you all know what they are. They only shoot about 30 feet, 40 feet. You know that, and one of the neighbors didn't like it, and he called the fire department. By the time we were almost done, look for what you got. I said, okay, I understand. And that was it. And, the message was, and, I didn't make habit of saying, well, I don't like that. I've been here, because he dealt with me in an even-handed manner. if anybody with the fireworks gonna feel dealt with in an even-handed manner, getting a $1,000 fine. And we haven't heard I don't think we were reported anything. How many fires did we have to deal with from illegal? And this is the city of Ridgecrest, so you can't branch out to Kern. You can only talk about Ridgecrest. If you didn't hear those, then it sounds to me like, as far as you actually know, you have a real problem. And those things may go up in the air, tell how many fires were caused by them, and there's no. So you need to go back and start the process over. Do your homework, but not have this pushed on you just because for some unknown reason. This needs to be put on the book.
All right, thank you, Mr. Neal. It sounds like you're done there. You were, every once in a while, you would break in and out, but I think we caught the gist of your message. Okay, any other public comment? Anybody on the phone or out in seats? Aaron, you have anything?
Hello, Aaron Crutchfield, Ridgecrest resident. Mainly just have a couple questions for how is this going to be enforced? Like, do you have to see them doing it, or like, can a neighbor call in and say, hey, this guy exploded some fireworks, and then maybe you could come and look if there's residue on the yard or the trash from it or things like that?
Chief, take it away.
Yeah, our goal would be to be able to readily identify the property. If we got a call from a homeowner, we would have officers go to the area and observe the area to see what the natural behavior of the people there is. We wouldn't be using video from someone or things that wouldn't otherwise have evidentiary value in court. We would want the officers to on-view the launch or explosion of the illegal devices, and that would be the precursor to issuing a citation. So it's not going to be third and fourth party. Somebody said you did it, and we're taking their word for it. These will be violations that are on-viewed by police department staff, or in the event our partners from the fire department are in the community, that they observe as well.
So is this going to do anything to help? Well, like, for example, last night someone blew up a mortar and, scares dogs, all that stuff, and just one, but, happy 16th of September, I guess, that it was. But there's been times where it's like almost every night somebody somewhere is doing it, but they'll just do one a night. Is this going to do anything to help get rid of that?
Maybe. Right now, we don't have a tool. This will simply give us another tool in the toolbox to address these types of issues. Can I tell you that all of your explosions are going to be determined by, officers who might be in the area? We can try, but I'm not going to tell you that because it's not realistic. But what this does is gives us the ability to, if we can identify, for example, let's say somebody lit one off today. If I can't determine who went and lit the device off, I have no tool to cite anybody for anything. What this does, it's why it's called a social host ordinance, is puts the onus on the person responsible for the property for hosting an event where this dangerous activity could occur.
Okay. I think that's about all the questions I had, at least for now.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you bet. Thank you, Aaron. So one thing I was remembering as I was reading through the ordinance, when we were negotiating the fire contract with the fire department, we got a very good presentation, I think not once but twice, from a consultant, Ron, that you hired, because we need to do some very in-depth analysis. We were kind of really bearing our soul and figuring out what we were going to do, if we could not afford every station, and what that was going to look like. And what came out of that, and there was a lot of good things, and we'd have to bring back up the tapes and bring back up the presentation. But that objective look told us that not only do we have enough fires and emergencies that the fire department were having to respond to justify the stations that we had enough that you could reasonably say that we need another fire station. And I think at the time, again, I'm going to say I think that, Chief, what was that? There was no plug, I promise, there was no plug. The reason I bring that up is it was remarked by the consultant that we have more structure fires for our size than we should. And I think adding to it with mortars and things of that, so I had to go back and look at the ordinance, and it looks like the actual definition of dangerous fireworks is those that explode, go airborne, or move erratically. Does that sound somewhere correct? Okay. We need something on the books to be enforceable. Thus far, yourself, Chief, you and the PD have seemed reasonable with the entire community. I can't see where this would get out of hand. I know that this, and rightfully so, the community always wants to make sure that this is not a case of overreach, and that we're tempering with property rights, property values, and that we're not, so that we're not, there's a fine balance there. And I think that we always reach that goal thus far. So I am also going to support this. Now, when I read through the ordinance, I didn't see any issues with how it was worded. Solomon, did you have any? Okay.
Yeah, Martin drafted this ordinance based upon a health and safety code that allows this type of social host ordinance to exist within our laws as a city.
So if I'm not mistaken, this is just a discussion. If we want this to move forward, we still have to go through 2 more readings, right, for an ordinance. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. So that, hopefully that satisfies Mr. Neal's complaint with not enough public input. I think that's valid, right? We're going to have several different instances where we're going to hear from the public.
I will argue that you probably get more public input and notification doing it, the discussion at council, than you would at quality of life. Because if we went through quality of life and then we came here for first reading, you'd have less people know about this. In all frankness, I mean, not very many people come to quality of life.
Sure.
And that was one of the justifications for this, was to give the council the opportunity to hear this as a group and discuss it, and then give us direction on which way you wanted us to go.
Understood. Mario, do you have something?
Yes, you're talking about, the previous consultant who talked about our need for, high-quality fire service, which we have, thanks to our guys over here. But what I'll tell you is, also based on my experience, I was on duty when we had a fireworks fire in the city in which I worked, where we lost 10 homes in one afternoon from one firework. The fact that we will have a tool to try to make an impact and a significant deterrent in the community, hopefully will prevent something like that. That's really what this is about. This isn't about, a lack of patriotism. We get it, 4th of July, it's America. But at the end of the day, we want to protect the lives and property of the people here. And that's all we'll use this for.
Understood. Thank you, Chief.
And as you recall, we get a significant number of complaints from folks with their animals every year.
I do recall that, and I know that you have had, not me, but I know that other council members have been echoing to you that they would like something done. So I appreciate you bringing something to the council. Chief?
One last thing I'd like to add. Although the fine for each violation is $1,000, $650 of that doesn't come to the city. It goes to the fire marshal. So less than half of that would come to the city. This in no way is intended to generate revenue for the city. The fire marshal gets their portion, and when you talk about the staffing needed to pull this stuff off, this isn't a money-making venture by any means.
I think the resolution says 65% goes to state and then 35% to city.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So if we have no further discussion out in the public and nothing else on the dais, I will, sorry, do you have something, Mr. Hammond?
Just a couple questions on, I didn't think I quite heard the increase in fires or fire statistics. I'd like to see maybe a breakdown of the fire statistics and the number of fires that, the number of fires that occurred during, the 4th or maybe the week of the 4th, because I know there's an increased, shooting off of fireworks sometimes days before or, later. But I think that'd be kind of an interesting number to look at. But I have a question about the property owner being liable for the shooting off of the fireworks. In the event of, say, like a public large business that somebody goes out and sees a big area of concrete and they want to stop in and shoot off fireworks, and am I hearing it that property owner is going to be responsible for that?
So there are isolated situations like the one you described where, just like any other citation or arrest that we would make as officers, we have to make sure there's probable cause to issue that citation. if we can't determine, for example, if somebody does it outside of Stater Brothers after it's closed, it's not reasonable to say that people who own Stater Brothers would have any responsibility.
Okay.
Now, if there's a regular process where they were lighting them off there and that property owner was aware and reasonably
allow
could
them
have
to
taken
continue.
steps to mitigate that, sure.
Okay.
A citation could be issued.
Okay.
But again, this is about deterrence. We,
No,
if this goes perfectly, we won't issue any citations. People will realize they don't want to spend their $1,000 and they'll cease with the dangerous activity and just enjoy the show the city puts on.
Understood. Thank you.
Mr. Gorman, anything else? Okay, so I would entertain I'm sorry, do you have anything? No? So this is just a discussion and direction, so I think we're okay.
We can move forward with consensus of the council to bring this back for first reading.
Is there a consensus among the council that we bring this back for a first reading?
I mean, it will go to quality of life.
Well,
First, it will go to quality of life, right?
no, I think it'll come right back here to the council for a first reading, unless you want to
I
correct.
think you have 4 of the 5 council people here. I mean, I think that's, if I got a consensus to move it forward, I don't think there's really a necessity to bring it to quality of life.
So everybody's in.
I mean, not everything we bring to council goes to a committee before it hits city council.
Yeah, I'm fine it coming to us directly, so.
Right, okay.
Okay, I'm good. Mr. Hammond?
Thank you, everybody.
Okay. And Skip, you're good. Good. Adamantly. Got it. All right, we're on to item number 7, a resolution of the Ridgecrest City Council authorizing acceptance of the San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District New Alternative Fuel Vehicle Grant. Chief.
Thank you. Tonight, we'd like to talk with the council regarding a grant that we have requested for electric bicycles. Through the San Joaquin Air Pollution District, we were able to get bicycles, 10 of them, with a 5-year service contract and training for most of our officers for $99,999. That sounds like a lot of money for 10 bikes, but when you look at the cost of, high-quality electric bicycles these days, the $10,000-ish price tag for each one to include training and 5 years of maintenance actually isn't too bad. It requires no upfront costs. It's completely covered by the grant. We don't write any checks. We simply, with the approval of the council, submit your resolution authorizing us to move forward, and we can get these bicycles. These particular bicycles were built specifically by a bicycle trainer who has been training police officers and security officers for the last couple of decades. This bike is specifically built for police work. That's why things like the frame are also warranted for 5 years because, the police can be a little bit rough on equipment when we're out there. One of the reasons that we would like to add this to our fleet of tools is when we do things, we recently did some extra burglary patrols, just out, looking for people who might not be doing things we would like them to do in our communities. And certainly when you get up into the more hilly areas, using a regular bicycle can be a little bit of a challenge. But when you add the additional help of an electric motor, it gives us the ability to patrol all of the communities on a bicycle rather than just the ones in the flat area. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions about the bicycles, the program, or things of that nature. We recognize that when we talk about, hills and the electric bicycles, that the city manager, Ron Strand, spends a lot of his personal time on a regular bicycle with no motor, riding up hills bigger than College Heights. And unless he wants to come back and put a uniform on, we'd like to proceed with getting some electric bikes.
Yeah, that's understandable. It's understandable. So back to the council for discussion. Anything on this grant? Mr. Roger Rodnam?
Chief, right now, we have enough police vehicles, right? I mean, these would be like standby, or when do you put them into use, actually?
These would be supplemental. These certainly wouldn't replace a police car.
Okay.
What we would do is we would use these for things like burglary patrol at night, when we want to just ride around and see what's happening in neighborhoods without the sound or lights of a vehicle, to give us an opportunity to see what's happening organically, rather than, when a car goes by and people hide. Additionally, they can be used for large community events. We look at the Parade of 1,000 Flags, when the fair is in town, things of that nature. We can use these bicycles to better maneuver both in the parking lots, through the fairgrounds, and be able to more rapidly respond to incidents that are occurring where a car wouldn't be feasible, and running isn't practical because you still have to have a little bit of breath left when you get there. So these are just another tool that we will have to help us supplement the service that we currently provide.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hammond?
I just have a question. I like this, and I'm in support of it. In regards to the bikes and some of the events that they'd be used for and the, type of tires, I know I've looked at electric bikes over the years, and would these have like kind of an all-terrain tire or more of an off-road tire, so that like if you're in the dirt out at the fairgrounds or in one of these other areas that you've got
A combination, and they're very
street
wide
bike.
tires.
Yeah.
I think they're 3.5 or 4 inch, so they're not, normal skinny mountain bike tires. These are designed to do a multitude of things. The training normally takes place in Southern California because part of the training is up and down stairs, across grass, through water, and they've got a course that they use. But in the negotiations for the contract with the supplier, our training will occur in Ridgecrest because we have a different dynamic in our community. I want our officers to train, up around the college, out in the desert, places where we may actually use them as opposed to an urban setting. We want to make sure the training occurs in Ridgecrest where we'll actually use them, where we can pre-identify with the instructors of the class, the challenges that we have terrain-wise to be most effective for Ridgecrest.
Very good. I like it.
Thank you, Mr. Hammond. Mr. Gorman, do you have any comments or questions?
I like the use of the term organically, which he used. I wrote it down. The vision of the cop on the beat from a century ago brought the policeman more organically as part of the community. I think the e-bikes will head in that direction to a charming extent. I support it. Thank you.
You have my support, Chief.
Thank you.
Are there any comments from the public? Anything on the phones? Seeing none, hearing none. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Blades?
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam?
Aye.
Mr. Heyman?
Aye.
Mr. Gorman?
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries.
We're on to item number 8, discussion regarding the Board of the Indian Wells Valley Groundwater Authority. Mr. Heyman, I believe you did have a chance to meet. Anything coming out of that meeting that we should be aware of?
So thanks, sir. The Groundwater Authority did meet on September 10th of 2025, and I'll just go over a couple of, a rather short meeting. So we had item number 9, which was the board to receive and file the 2023 audit. So that was a big thing that had been on delay due to various circumstances. We finally got that audit in. It was a good audit. No major negative comments in it, so that we were glad to see that. And we were really happy to hear too that we have a new company that is handling the audits now. And we were told by Carol, our general manager, that the 24 audit will be coming out soon. So that'll bring us current on our audits, which has been a concern for some in the community and for the board itself. We've been frustrated with it over the last couple of years, so it's really glad, we were all really glad to see that get solved and handled. So, and the next item was westbound communication social media engagement. I believe we had talked just a little bit about that at the last council meeting. This topic was discussed at the previous GA meeting, and there was a lot of concern about it, so it got shelved until the next meeting, which was this immediate past meeting that we had last week. We came to the conclusion that we would, and approved the social media account on Facebook, but with some caveats of not having comments on. And so it was approved by the board. It was a rather robust discussion because a lot of folks had similar concerns. Public had concerns as to whether the Facebook is a responsible outlet for engaging the public in communication. But it was interesting that myself, I was okay with having it a Facebook page that was out there with the comments on. We came to my attention that Inyo County, San Bernardino County, Kern County, the Water District, all have Facebook pages with comments on, but yet there was a discussion as to why the GA should or should not have, you know, the same and similar. So, but it came, we were all in agreement for the consensus of the board and to at least get it started, get a Facebook page. So I was good with it, even though, you know, the comments won't be on. If there's any problems with it, you know, I think it's a good thing. You know, if we get it out there and we find that it's not, it's just as easy to go back and just pull it. So, other than that, we did have well, we'll back up. I should have mentioned this earlier, but since it did fall under the GA meeting, under public comment, I can share it now. But East Kern talk on desert drought tolerant plants will occur at the Matarango Museum on Saturday, September 20th at 2 p.m. So for members of the public, if you want to learn about drought tolerant plants and plants that are good and grow in our desert, that will be on Saturday, September 20th. Should be good. I don't know if they'll have plants for sale. In the years past, I believe they did, but or that might be a separate thing that goes on in the spring, so I can't guarantee that. But they do a good job on trying to educate the public on what plants grow well here in our unique desert. And the only other thing I will bring up is a question I think that Councilmember Blades had at a previous meeting in regards to the Rose Valley.
Oh, yes, the monitoring.
Yeah, the monitoring well. And so I'll just kind of go over it. Subflow from Rose Valley to Indian Wells Valley. So there's ongoing work with the BLM regarding the cultural survey and permitting for second monitoring well. The next steps will be to obtain the BLM concurrence on the scope of the cultural archaeological field survey and conduct a cultural archaeological field survey itself. And 3 would be the BLM right-of-way grant. So periodic correspondence with BLM regarding the delayed authorization of the archaeological survey at the proposed well site. So we're still working with BLM to work through these surveys and the cultural surveys. And so so it is ongoing. Reimbursement of the well is well underway. The contract between Navy and COSO has been extended through August 31st of 2026 to allow for this bit of delay dealing with some of the permitting. So, and basically for the public, that well is, it's north, if you're heading north out of town toward Little Lake, it's in the north end of our basin. And so it's a well that will be drilled to monitor water that comes, we feel may or may not come down or out of the Little Lake Gap area, or what it's called the Rose Valley flow. So we'll look forward to getting that well. Last, I will bring up the bills, the legislative bills that have been ongoing this year. AB 1466 is on the governor's desk, so we're waiting any finalization of that. The other bill, AB 1413, has been parked until January 2026, at which time it will be relooked at. So that's all I have.
Yeah, you know, I was happy to see, I believe you guys printed, Aaron, that the Water District came in support of 1466. I think Searles Valley came in support of 1466.
I was just going to say, and Searles Valley. So with the amendments as, you know, proposed. So we'll see how AB 1413 fares after January.
Sure, people working together. I think that if you weren't at the state like I was, and you would have seen that although there was a lot of strife in Ridgecrest, but if you were up in Sacramento, you saw that the two sides were a lot closer. At least that's what was said at the at the microphone. But the amendments were actually getting people pretty close.
Yeah, I would agree. So any questions from the board? Council?
No further questions from me, Mr. Roger Rotnam. Mr. Gorman? Anything from the public? Yes, Aaron.
Feel like I'm getting involved here. So I know the Water District and Searles Valley have changed their positions on it with the amendments. Does the Groundwater Authority still support it now after the amendments?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sounds good. I see the lights on. Is there somebody on the phone? If you can hear me, please go ahead.
Takes a minute for the transition over.
On the phone. Hello?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, AB 1413, controversial. It's shelved. Got passed. The other big news is that Judge Claster denied any of the objections to the Phase 1 decision, and that includes the Federal Reserve water rights. I believe, now, you know, I've been involved in a indirect way in the SIG issue. Hello? I've been involved in this since day 1, 2014, and I believe am I on right now?
So, yeah, you are on, Mr. Sanat. It's just every once in a while you break in and out. So we're asking our IT guys if it's on our side or not. But
Okay, I hear you.
Oh, yep. Please go. You can go ahead, and we'll try to fix
Okay.
anything on our end.
Well, here's what I think. I think the Navy is thrilled with the Phase 1 decision, and I think they would be even more thrilled to see and the city start working together for their valley, and the 13 is on the sidelines. Phase 2 will be the decision of the science. How much water is in and what's the recharge? And this has been an issue from the, and we needed well reading wells. It's always, COVID interrupted the process. We got one data. So the technical working group that was formed through the cooperation of the Water District, one of the best science ever conducted on this valley. And if you think about it, this is a big, big basin. And the difference between what the GA came up with, which is about 1.5 million acre feet, and what the technical working group came up with, which is about 40 million acre feet of storage, water and storage, that's more water than Lake Mead full. And I've been to Lake Mead, and I've seen how empty it is, and I've got video to show you someday. My point is this is a big basin. There's a lot of water. There's more flowing in to this basin than what the GA science says. They come up with 7650. Now, the technical working group, I think, is over 14,000. So I think this is an apex moment for the city of Ridgecrest. Get together, cooperate, and accomplish two objectives. One is to settle the science through mediation, and number two is to work together to develop a plan to build the secondary wastewater treatment facility. That was a project, GSP, that was canceled, feasible. District, I believe, wants to develop a plan that is feasible. I'll tell you, I'm in Arizona, Payson, a lot, and it's a large community lake. They call it the town lake, about 10 acres, and it's all recycled water. Popular place for the congregate, have events.
Yeah, 1 minute, Mr. Sanat.
et cetera. And there's interest in what Cave Creek, Arizona is doing. I am right now. Look into their recycled water plans and how they did it. Offer some ideas, but if the water district and the city get together, mediate on the science, develop a plan for the wastewater secondary recycled project, you would do so much for the Indian Wells Valley. And you don't need the ground for any of this. Just do it. And that's all I'm saying. And good luck.
All right, thank you for your comments. Mr. Heyman, do you have anything?
No, I'll just add that ongoing efforts with the mediation, or I should say the mediation, we have ongoing effort to work with the water district, and so that is, continues to be pursued. And so, and with that mediation, some of the issues, the numbers that are disputed between the different models will be looked at, and you know, the science will be looked at, and hopefully it'll be a productive outcome, and so, but that is, continues to be worked on. So.
Good, yeah, as I understood it, that was,
Yeah.
we were still in the works on that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other public comments? All right, seeing none, hearing none, we can move on from GA discussion to number 9, discussion and propose action to approve a resolution designating a voting member and alternate to attend the League of California Cities Annual Conference and represent the city of Ridgecrest. Ms. Charlon.
Yes, sir. The League's annual conference is October 8th through the 10th. Right now, I have City Manager Strand, Deputy City Manager Reed, Mr. Gorman, and yourself, Mr. Blades, registered to go to that conference.
Yes, ma'am.
And they need action for a primary and a secondary council member to vote on anything that's on the floor that's general business to establish league policy. So you are our representative, Mr. Gorman is our secondary, we can go that route, and we are okay with that. If we have different nominations and want to go a different way, we can open it up for discussion.
Sure. So first thing I want to ask, is everybody on the okay with myself and Mr. Gorman going?
I'm okay.
Good.
And do you want to be the primary, or would you like me to be the,
I almost voted last time.
would you like another shot at it?
We didn't have a quorum, sadly.
Picture.
Of his voting card, yeah.
Skip.
Yeah, I had the, I was right
All
there.
ready to go, and it
officially
didn't
and
work.
everything. New badge, everything. Yeah, I'll be glad to take the voting responsibility.
Okay, then I'll go as alternate, then.
Okay.
Perfect. And if everybody is in agreeance,
We
then
do
that's
have
what we'll
to
go
go
with.
motion, yeah.
And was there any discussion from the public? Seeing none, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Blades,
Aye.
Mr. Rajaratnam,
Aye.
Mr. Heyman,
Aye.
Mr. Gorman,
Aye.
4 ayes, motion carries. Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. We're on to committee reports. We have 2 committees that had a chance to meet. First one is Finance and then Infrastructure. So Finance met on September the 9th. Mr. Heyman, is that your bailiwick?
Alrighty, so yes, and I'll have Councilmember Rajaratnam participate in this at any point. So we went over revenue updates. Overall, things are looking really good for the city. There's a little bit of a drop in the TOT, but we're working on that. Do a couple hotels, getting caught up. We're still, you know, projected revenues are down. I was going to do a percentage on it. I don't know if you did off the top of your head. They gave us an amount, but I'm going to say that off the top of my head, it's under 10%. We expected that due to the base projects and build out on the base slowing down and coming to an end, and all those workers and increased hotels and services being used by the folks that had come in and worked on the base. We're seeing a drop in that, so it was expected. Otherwise, we went over the rollovers, which was pretty straightforward. There was a question in regards to the employee compensation update. That is in progress and continues to be worked on. And I believe that's all that I have, unless Councilmember Rajaratnam, do you have anything to add?
No, you covered everything.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Thank
it.
you. And then we're on to infrastructure. Solomon, did you take better notes than I did?
No.
Okay, but I did.
No, I'm not on that committee.
Okay. You're right. We moved, right? The mayor is.
Yeah.
Man, and the mayor's not here. That's okay. I have my agenda. So the first thing we talked about was a four-way stop at Inyo and Graff, a warrant study for French and La Mirage, and then a warrant study for Mahan and Upjohn. And if memory serves, there should be a four-way stop at French and La Mirage. Does that sound about right? Mm-hmm. And I think Mahan and Upjohn as well. What we did discuss, and I think this is important, this does get into your area a little bit, Chief, and we had the discussion with Mr. Reed, that is that sometimes people speeding through neighborhoods is a concern, especially when you have to cut through to get to another, not an arterial, but a secondary. Mr. Reed brought up in some of those neighborhoods, we should pull the trailer that you have that will alert people in some of those neighborhoods. And so the one person had a pretty valid concern. Mr. Reed said he would also ask you to do increased patrols, but we will try to maybe put a trailer there to see if we could curtail some of that. What are your thoughts on that, Chief?
I think that's a great idea. We have it out. I think we put it out in that area already once. We try to have the trailer out as often as we try not to store it. We want it to be somewhere all the time.
Okay.
As far as extra patrols, we'll do the best we can.
Mhm.
We're still working on getting up to full staffing. It's not an excuse, but our officers are fairly busy. We do try to get the officers that are allowed to ride the motorcycles, who've been to the proper training, out to do additional enforcement as often as we can. But we should be ramping that up as we get more of these folks out of the academy. We anticipate staffing to be pretty good over the next about 9 months.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we are done with committee reports, and we are on to other committees, boards, and commissions. Anything, Skip? No? All right, we can move on to the city manager report.
I have nothing to add at this time.
Future agenda items. Anything? I do have something that I'm going to ask if you guys will support to be on the next agenda. That is that we had a very good town hall. The mayor, it was impromptu, but I think it was very good for the public to have some amount of conversation before he went to LAFCO today, where he is right now, to vote on whether the East Kern Healthcare District will expand into our area. And I do not know how he's going to vote. I don't know how that's going right now.
Their board voted in favor. All of them voted in favor, it seems.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So out of that, I came away with a lot of questions. A lot of questions. And I think the public had a few questions themselves. The only representation we had in the room was the mayor, and this was just through conversations he had, and I think that he actually did a very good job for just having those amount of resources. The hospital wasn't in the room. Of course, any other stakeholders weren't there to speak up. So I believe we should bring it back to the dais, and we should have a discussion about what this process looks like moving forward. I believe that the city council should have a role, like an active role in looking at the contract that's going to be going on between the East Kern Healthcare District and the hospital. And I believe that we should strongly emphasize that there is public oversight. Now, I understand that there will be. The East Kern Healthcare District has elected members, but if you look at their roles, there's 2 spots coming up in '26, and that's not just Ridgecrest. And then the other 3 spots aren't coming up until 2028. I would imagine if this process moves along, right, we could at most see 1 or 2 representatives on there. I think it's reasonable. Now, I know I'm going along, but I wanted to preface you before we get to the next discussion. I want to preface with, I think that even the hospital board themselves should have some amount of public representation. That could be an appointee from the city or the county. But I believe there needs to be as much public participation as possible, or at least some kind of representation as we move forward. And I think we need to move that conversation to the dais next agenda. If open to opinions and.
Mayor Blades, in that meeting, I think Ms. Karen Macedonia, she mentioned that hospital would probably retain the existing board.
They didn't say it clearly. I think
Yeah,
the contract, it was going to be worked out in the contract.
contract or something they have to negotiate.
Correct, sir.
And also at this time, we don't, just because Houston Healthcare District voted in favor of this, we don't know if hospital is going to move forward or not. So that's another thing. So, and the crux of the matter is the hospital, so they should be part of any further discussions in this.
You're correct on all parts. And as I understand it, even this vote today, even though LAFCO approved to expand borders, there still is a chance for a protest vote if people do not want to see those borders expanded. I was taking notes earlier, but of course I do not have them. I believe it's a 25% of people have to respond. And then if it's over 25%, then that's when it'll go to a vote. And then if it's over 50%?
50%,
yeah.
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
If I may chime in, please. Yeah, you're correct on those numbers. I would also caution the council to narrow this discussion down to a future agenda item versus debating the merits of the whole situation.
Mayor, can I
Hey,
make a
you can't fault me
suggestion?
for trying, Martin.
Can I make a suggestion?
Absolutely. Yep.
Just like we have the groundwater authority on there once a month,
Mm-hmm.
we could have the same type of a discussion item on there once a month, maybe opposite the one the GA's on, and that way, if there are things to talk about, you can, and if there's not, we just pass by it.
So I think that might be a viable idea. Because my concern is, with the Brown Act, that, I can't talk to these two individuals over here about this issue, or with fellow to my, or council member to my right. I think it's important that, and I would like to hear a discussion about it at this dais, and so that we can have open dialogue and not only, I think it improves our knowledge of it, but at the advice of council, I do take that serious too. So maybe we can continue to work on this matter a little bit and find out how can we have a discussion about it, because the impact of what the hospital is going through and where they end up, whether it be negative or positive, has the exact same direct effect on this community as a whole. This is extremely important.
By listing it, just as we do your GA conversation, we can do that once a month. You can have these
Maybe we can have-
conversations.
Yeah, I think Martin was just trying to keep us from having a discussion about it tonight.
Right
And
now,
then
yeah.
having you put on a future agenda item so you guys can discuss it at will.
And with the caveat that the GSA is a report out, and obviously there is no, we don't have a participant in any of the current decision-making processes between the LAFCO and the district and the
Right.
hospital. But an item could be on the agenda, just not an action item, a council discussion and updates regarding status of, the healthcare district. And if you wish to hear from other entities like the hospital, for example, or even the district, we obviously can't control it, but we can invite them to come and present during those items.
Yeah, thank you. So I think what we do is we have a robust discussion next time, and if we move it on to some item that we're going to bring up on a recurring basis, then we can do that. We can talk about that then. I just wanted to make sure I fully explained why I would bring this to the dais. I think it's huge, it's enormous, it's affecting this community. I am not saying I'm not supportive, I am very, but the influence of this council is huge. It's enormous on the community, and I think that it's a discussion we need to have, and I think the future impacts are enormous. So, Mr. Gorman. if you
Kyle,
could-
with regard to your asking it to get on the agenda, I wanted to jump in and say, I second the motion. That makes it officially so.
Are you trying to get me to be quiet, Mr. Gorman? Is that what's going on?
It will be,
I
it will
didn't
be
hear
on the
you
next
say
agenda.
the
And
exact
then-
words.
Looks like we got two.
So we're,
Okay.
three in
You don't need me to keep going?
I enjoyed Travis's town hall, sort of. We need one more roving microphone.
Agreed. Do we have any other future agenda items?
so I'm in favor of it.
Yeah, 3. Okay. Sounds good. On to mayor and council comments. Mr. Roger Rotnam?
Mr. Strand, do you think we should talk, at least to give some information on the survey we are doing? The city is conducting on the,
Yeah, normally, yeah, we are doing a survey regarding quality of life. Typically, our consultant has asked us on the 8 previous occasions not to talk about it because they don't want it influenced by the public. One of the values of when you do this is you don't spoil the sample by putting out the information beforehand. It's more organic to have the survey conducted from the public, then we can come back and then discuss, some of the items we're looking at.
all right, thank you.
Mr. Hammond?
Done.
Mr. Gorman? I have no comments myself. So it is 7:45. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.